Welcome to the Tambellini Group's Women in Technology Spotlight Series. In these interviews, we highlight the career paths, perspectives, and accomplishments of the remarkable women driving technology forward in higher education today. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Jenny Paulsen, who serves as the Deputy CIO for University of South Florida in Tampa. Welcome, Jenny.
Thank you. Thanks, Liz. I appreciate the opportunity to share my story.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing your answers to our questions. And let's start off with our classic first one, which is, what did you think you wanted to be when you grew up and why?
So, as I reflect back on my early days when I was young, I had always wanted to be a teacher. I used to pretend teach with, my dad had put a blackboard up outside, an old school chalk blackboard, and I'd spend hours pretending to teach to my pretend students. And but then as I got into high school around kind of ninth or 10th grade, I was really fortunate to have a really forward-thinking math teacher at our school, and she introduced a computer programming class. And that was back in the early 80s, where that was a new concept. And but it was she made she made it available for those students that had a knack for math. And so I signed up, not really knowing what it was, but by this time I'd realized that there wasn't much money in teaching career, so I thought I'd give it a try. And my first program that I remember writing was on an Apple II computer, and I had to calculate the average grade of a student, and I was sold. I just loved the challenge of being able to solve a problem with a computer program and coding. And so at that stage, I pretty much knew that my career was going to be something in IT. So yeah, that's how it grew up.
I remember doing essays on an Apple too.
There we go. Yep.
So can you tell us a bit about how your career path and education progressed since that spark was lit from learning how to code?
Yeah, so when I graduated high school, at the time I grew up in South Africa, and my family couldn't afford college, and scholarships weren't really an option for my demographic either. So I had to work, and I worked for a couple of years as a telephone switchboard operator, saving up my money so that I could put myself through a 4-month programming course. And I ended up graduating top of the class, which gave me the opportunity to get the pick of the jobs. And I ended up getting a job with a computer consulting company as a programmer. And they offered tuition as part of their benefit package. And so I used that to attend college. I did it part-time, so I worked and did college in the evenings. And I graduated from UNISA, which is the university in South Africa. And my bachelor's was in information technology and business administration. And as I reflect back throughout my career in IT over the past 30 years, I've really taken on a variety of roles. I call it my career jungle gym. Some of them have been the sideways moves to learn more about a particular area of technology. But others have been climbing upwards into management, and I've taken on, progressive leadership roles. And so that's been really, really fun. And then a couple of years ago, I had a chance to get a master's, and through the University of South Florida, where I work. And I chose the learning design and technology field, which kind of blends the teaching skills with the technology. So I almost feel like I've come back full circle to appreciate, my passion for teaching, and that I had from that young age, and blending that with my passion for technology. And I'm hoping that maybe the latter part of my career, I'll have more chances to take on some more teaching roles, and using some of that technology in innovative ways to help students learn. So
That's a really cool trajectory. I like how, as you said, it's come full circle. So
yeah.
what is a day, a week in the life of your role like being Deputy CIO at University of South Florida?
Yeah, so in that role, and USF is one of the fastest rising universities in the rankings at the moment, and it's on a really positive trajectory. So, but every day is unique and different. I think the life of any technologist is it's like a roller coaster. You have those fantastic rewards as we change people's lives using technology, but there's also those panic moments when that same technology fails, and we have to fix it urgently so they can get back on track and do what they need to do. But I love the variety that I have in my current role. I feel like I can make an impact in the way that our institution operates with the technology products that we can create. While also I have a part of my role is talent management. So I have a real fun time providing opportunities for career growth for our staff. And then, also sometimes I'm leading strategic discussions with the institution leaders and finding new ways that we can leverage technology at USF. So it's really been varied. It's been fun. And, at the end of the day, having impact for our students and our faculty and our staff makes me feel good and sleep well every night.
Well, speaking of feeling good and sleeping well at night, can you tell us about a particular project or accomplishment in recent times that you're especially proud of or enjoyed, or both, hopefully?
Yeah. I think two things come to mind. The first I'll share is about a people and a focus on the people side of the role. So I think the most satisfying part of my role as a leader and a manager in IT has been to provide opportunities for career growth for our team. And this week we were reviewing some data, and I was really pleased to see that over the past 2 years, over half of our IT team have been able to take on new responsibilities and to grow their careers. And that's really been critical, during these challenging post-COVID era times that we're in. So I was really, really pleased to see that. Um, and then the second experience that I'll share is a technology product and a process improvement that we delivered. A couple of years ago, I was asked to lead the analytics strategy, and we've really focused on completely modernizing the way our USF community is able to use data to make informed decisions. And we wanted to change the culture or really transform the culture to be more data-driven decision-making organization. And so we began with a financial data set that we've provided for all of our financial folks in the colleges and the departments. And we created a whole data literacy training program to support it, so that it people would know how to use the data effectively in this kind of self-service model. And a couple of weeks ago, we met with one of our clients in the athletics department, and she literally said that that financial data set product we'd created had changed her life. And she can now get those financial answers for her boss quickly. He's the athletic director, and it takes her minutes, whereas before that would take her days to try and find all of the information to get an answer to his questions. And her regular routine reporting that she has to do has now been reduced to minutes instead of hours. So it's just such a efficiency gain for her. And those kind of comments and the feedback we get, those are really those rewarding moments that I mentioned earlier that make us feel good in these IT roles.
Yeah, having that tangible proof that, oh, all that work we did, you can see it, you can feel it. So that's really cool. So
Exactly.
this is one of my favorite questions to ask, and it has to do with this magical genie that could possibly come down and answer one question for you about the future of technology in higher education. So if you had that genie, what would you want them to answer for you?
What would my question be?
Yeah.
So, there's so many ways to deliver instruction these days, ranging from that traditional kind of in-person experience to the fully online. And I would want to know what is the most effective balance for successful student outcomes. During my master's degree, I was exposed to so much of the psychology behind learning, and I learned many techniques on how you can leverage technology appropriately in that teaching model. And I think that there's so many factors that go into student success. And those factors are different for each student often as well. So
Wow.
I think my question would be like, how can we use those limited funds that we have to deliver the right blend of instruction methods so that we can ensure the best outcomes for every unique student? And I imagine the answer would probably include, how to use some technology and applying it in the right way. I don't think we figured that out. And I think that's a secret sauce. That's a secret to success in higher ed. And I'd want to know what that answer was.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably different for a lot of different groups.
Exactly. Each student's unique, and some
Yes,
prefer they have their different preferences. So it would be good to know.
that definitely would be great to know and would help a lot of people. Well, to close things out, I would love to hear from you. What is the best piece of career advice you've gotten? I mean, you knew you always wanted to work with computers, so this isn't as if this role is a surprise and a complete different turn in your life. But you're obviously at a university that's doing so many amazing things. What have you been told in terms of something that's helped you throughout your career progression?
Yeah, I'm going to take this on a personal level. Um, Back when my eldest son was just only 6 months old, and I was a new mom, and I wanted to continue to pursue a career in technology, but I was really struggling with balancing that being the perfect mom and being there for my child, and while trying to still be a great leader in IT. And at the time, I got some great advice. I was told that being a mom has to be your top priority, and work has to be second. um, and also to find a company that will let you balance those two roles effectively. So if you need to take time off work to chaperone those field trips, or to attend some of those end of year fun celebrations, like decorating the gingerbread house in elementary school days and things like that. So in fact, and that's the reason that I moved to higher education industry, because typically they have the generous benefits and the vacation policies, and those have all allowed me to achieve that balance between my personal and my work life. And then one other tip was take 30 minutes every day for yourself to recharge, whatever that might be. All of us are different, and I'm really a big believer in diversity of thought in IT. And I strongly believe that we need more women in IT. And I hope that some that are listening to this interview will be able to shape their priorities in that way as well, and take some of this advice too, because it really is a very rewarding career in IT. And I think it's allowed me to balance that, being the mom that I want to be as well. And I hope they can take that. And then also, for those leaders in IT who have employees that are moms, please give those mom employees that privilege as well, because they'll make happy employees for you. So, I feel really blessed to have had the successful career in technology, and I've had so many rewarding moments, but and lots of challenges too. But overall, it's been a really fun journey of continued growth, full of new opportunities. So, really grateful for that.
That's very sound advice, and I think that by following that and having that work-life balance, it probably has a lot to do with why you found so much satisfaction and stayed in this line of work.
Yep. 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 For it's a little over 30 years now, so it's
Wow.
been great.
Well, that's a ringing endorsement for your advice.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jenny, for taking the time to talk with us today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Liz.